All right, you at work?
Yeah, yeah, we have
Okay.
like uploads and stuff on every Thursday. So yeah,
Oh, okay. You said it was your busy day, so this gonna be quick, right?
yeah, nah, you're fine, man. You're fine. I got,
Good.
I took care of a lot of stuff I had to do, so I got a little bit of time.
Okay. So what? I'm reading this article with by Keith Idek. What does this mean for the Tank versus Ryan fight?
Right. So my understanding is, this is me reading from the outside looking in. I didn't have any direct access, but my understanding is that with Tank pleading guilty, this should help actually expedite matters as far as the Ryan Garcia fight being announced. Now, I think there's still minor details that have to be settled up, as far as like the contract. I don't know if it's on Tank's side or on Ryan's side, but I expect an announcement to come either today or tomorrow. Obviously, even if they agreed to terms, it never made sense to announce the fight before this trial date because if things went sideways today, that it could have held up everything. So, like if they say they said the sentencing date was going to be March 5th instead of May 5th, that then you run the risk of the fight not being available because Tank, he's not out of the clear. I mean, he's only clear to fight, but he's quite possibly looking at jail time, significant jail time at that.
Yeah, it's punishable up to 1 year, right?
No, so this is what's interesting. Of the charges that I'm looking at, I thought his lawyer would have tried to at least worked out where they would plead to the charges that would have done put him in for like less than a year of jail time. Because that was what I was told was they were looking at maybe a max of 4 months in jail, and then like he pays a hefty fine. The charges I'm looking at, so it's leaving the scene of an accident involving bodily injury. He settled up with 3 of the 4 victims. So the one victim that was left, alleged victim, I guess, was left. That's still punishable by 1 year in prison. Failing to notify property damage is carries charge of 60 days in prison. Driving with a revoked license carries up to 1 year in prison. Running a red light, I think that's just a misdemeanor. So he's still looking at more than 2. He could be facing up to 26 months in prison.
Okay. Or so he just pleaded guilty. There was no plea deal at all. So he's basically thrown
Correct.
at the mercy of the judge.
Yeah. So yeah, again, I wasn't in the courtroom. I know Keith's story kind of followed the Baltimore Sun, but just whatever evidence I was able to obtain, he went in, he pled guilty, didn't make a statement. His lawyer, I don't think, made a statement either, and it was like they almost went in blind. They just said, you know what, we're pleading guilty. They had a right to a speedy trial, to a jury trial. He bypassed all that just to enter a guilty plea.
Okay. Okay. That's interesting because
Yeah, and let me say this too. And look, I try to really avoid getting involved with Twitter trolls. I know people have avoided me not getting, to get in the mud with them. But to say that he's doing all this to avoid the Ryan Garcia fight is just complete idiocy. It's like, look, if you want to pick a stance on this, you want to think whatever you want about Gervonta Davis. He did this to proceed with that fight.
yes.
So I'm sure that's not his only. I'm sure that he's got many other concerns in life. But as far as it relates to this fight, him going through with the trial and running the risk of this running any longer, and again, a sentencing date that could have come before April 15th, that runs the risk of jeopardizing the fight. He's going back to last year when he tried to work out a plea, where he thought he worked out the plea with the prosecution. Every step he's taken has been to push forward with this fight.
Yeah.
People need to
That was
understand. Look, I'm not trying to, I'm not trying to hail him as like some savior or whatever, but he and Ryan Garcia both have done all they can to proceed with this fight. There's other stuff that has held it up, but I always go back to this fight really should have taken place January 7th.
Yep. 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 But so is it still most likely the 15th of April?
Yeah, so the best answer I can give, because this is not my story to write. I don't want to trample on anyone else's story, but I have yet to hear that they are going to move off this date. I hope we find out today or tomorrow. I can't imagine they're going to hold up this announcement any longer. But my understanding is that once everything is approved, it should be April 15th. I think Keith previously reported they were looking at maybe Allegiant Stadium for this fight. I don't know if it's going to land there, but I would expect it to land somewhere in Vegas. And April 15th is still the working date to the best of my knowledge.
He said we could probably get an announcement as early as today or tomorrow.
I hope so. I'm hoping that the outcome of this trial kind of like if there was anything whatever was being held up on everyone else's end, if it was dependent on this, then the steps that Tank took to move forward with this fight hopefully expedites every other matter. Because again, if they're looking at April 15th this weekend, I had my little joke tweet yesterday, but the reality is we're exactly 2 months out. this weekend we're 8 weeks out from a major pay-per-view fight.
Yeah.
So now, granted, they've kind of gotten free publicity. It's not the publicity you want, but I think if people, are aware that the fight is happening, maybe that takes away, we need, the 90-day, 120-day run-up. But it's, the clock is ticking on this.
Do you think that this is what they were waiting on to move everything along?
Yeah, again, it would have been premature to announce this fight in early February, saying, we're going to happen, and then things go completely wrong. God forbid, judge decides, we're going to make an example of you, we're going to throw your ass in jail right now. So that that was the worst fear as far as this fight goes. So yeah, announcing this fight any sooner would have been premature. Not to mention there are still minute issues that are preventing everyone from announcing the fight.
But minute issues still with the contract?
I don't know which side it is. I know there's one or two things that still have to be, finalized. So Oscar's, metaphor of the fight being on the 1 yard line, it is accurate. So everyone expects that a deal will be reached, but a contract has never made its way to the ring. So
yeah, well, I mean, it's on the 1 yard line, and time about running out.
Right. So yeah, we'll kind of wait for that, defensive holding flag, I guess, late to fuck things up.
Yeah. They don't throw an interception instead of handing the ball off to
right.
Marshawn Lynch.
Yeah. Now, I will say this, especially with the sentencing date of May 5th, and if Tank is looking at jail time, it makes the rematch clause and them going back and forth on that stuff, it makes it all the more ridiculous. You and I go back and forth on this all the time. I'm against rematch clauses in any regard. I understand that it's part of the game. Promoters got to protect their client or whatever. But especially in this instance, I mean, God forbid Tank does go to jail for any length of time. It's how long does Ryan Garcia have to wait for that rematch then? It's he would need to continue on with his career. What happens? Say the worst case scenario, Tank goes to jail for 26 months. Does he come out and say, okay, I'm executing that rematch clause? 2 years later, that's how ridiculous stuff like this is. It's if they agreed to the fight way back in October, November, that move forward with the fight and then worry about the rematch later. They did that with Oscar De La Hoya and Felix Trinidad. We got that fight, which became the biggest non-heavyweight fight of all time. At the time of that fight occurring, the rematch fell apart because they couldn't agree on the final split. That's the way it should be done. Not to mention that fight never needed a rematch. Not all fights need a rematch.
That's true. That's true. I mean, I'm in favor of more so when it's a title on the line. If he's doing a voluntary, especially if he's doing a voluntary with one or more titles, then I'm really in favor of him then. What do you say? Lefty with the video interviews. Yeah, thank you, Montel. So has this issue also been holding up the rest of the schedule? Because we remember we were supposed to be getting a schedule announcement this week.
I would have to. I wish I could get a straight answer on that. I don't know if they're going to do a full schedule announcement. I would imagine if they're going to do a full schedule announcement, they would want this fight to be a part of it. Because DAZN announced their full schedule a couple of weeks ago. Canelo wasn't a part of it, and a couple of they're still working on things with Dimitri Bivol. It's you would think you would want your signature fights to be a part of this mass reveal, especially if they're announcing everything for the first half of the year at this point, because quite a few dates have already been leaked out. We already know what's coming up on Showtime in February, March, and really in April. Yeah. So I mean, there's not a lot left to announce. So, but you would want your best fights to be a part of any announcement.
Okay, and remember, Jake was the first one to break it that Canelo will be fighting in the Middle East or in what did you say, the Middle East or Mexico?
Or Mexico. Now it's looking like Mexico. It looks like even the Middle East is out. I know the UK was ruled out. They were looking at the Middle East, but now it is. I found it weird. I saw a report. I wasn't involved in it, but a report that he's looking at taking a pay cut just to bring the fight to Mexico. But again, now it is looking like May 6th. And if you remember, Tank did tweet out a while ago. I think this tweet is still on his timeline, but he tweeted out he wanted this fight on Cinco de Mayo weekend, but DAZN wouldn't allow it. And now we know why, because Canelo is in fact fighting on that weekend.
Yeah, he's fighting in this hemisphere, and this.
Yeah, exactly. Right. That's a great point. The fact that he's fighting actually in North America and in Mexico, presumably, right? That makes it all the more relevant, even though Cinco de Mayo is technically an American holiday.
Yeah. All right, Jake. I just want to update everybody. I don't want to give away too much.
No, you're fine. I got time if you want to keep on. Yeah.
No, I'm about to head out myself, but I just wanted to get a quick update over here, and I don't want to give away too much because we still got Saturday's show, which is going to be a lot.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, the thing I find interesting, this is I found it interesting even going into the January 7th fight. It's all these people who are pretending to be concerned about, oh my God, look at whatever crime Tank did. If I got more than 200 DMs this morning I'd say let's say hypothetically I got 200 questions. 199 of them would have been, is the fight still happening April 15th? That's the main people's concern. I think very few people like, oh my God, is he looking at jail time? Nobody cares about that.
Yeah.
So, please jump off that, high horse. All right. People are concerned, can I book flight? Can I book hotel for April 15th? That's what they're looking at. So,
well,
if you can wait through it today, then wait until tomorrow. That's all I can say. If you don't get word by tomorrow, then I'll do my best to fish out and kind of break ranks on this. But
is Allegiant the leading venue?
It's in the conversation. So again, if you're gonna have a fight to make a debut at that stadium, this would be the one.
Okay.
Do you think? No. Hold on, let me see this question. Paramount merger? No,
not at all.
Yeah,
not at all.
Yeah, I'm not even convinced that Showtime has. I'd have to imagine they have dates lined up. I don't even know if they have all the fights lined up though. So that could be what's holding up the full announcement. So.
I mean, yeah, a lot goes on behind the scenes. If y'all listened to the interview yesterday with Kurt Imhoff, former boxing manager, he told you a lot of things they change so quickly at the drop of a hat.
Yeah.
The guy pulls out, can't get his medical, something like that. They change at the drop of a hat. But anyway, all right. Thanks for joining me, Jake.
Of course, man.
News out here real quick, and don't y'all forget tomorrow is the betting show at 6 p.m. The betting show.
6 p.m.
Yeah. All right. Appreciate it. Thank everybody for joining.
All right. Thanks, guys. Appreciate you.